Have you ever wondered how America's Christian identity has been influenced by businessmen over the ages? This intriguing question leads us into a fascinating exploration of the intersection of business and religion. At first glance, commerce and spirituality may seem worlds apart. One concerned with material gain, the other with divine connection. Yet, as we delve deeper, we find a surprising interplay between the two, especially in the shaping of America's Christian identity. Indeed, the fingerprints of businessmen can be traced all over the canvas of America's religious landscape. The story of America isn't only one of pilgrims seeking religious freedom or pioneering frontiersmen carving out a new world. It is also a tale of industrious individuals, of businessmen who saw in this new land an opportunity not just for economic growth, but also for the propagation of their faith. These businessmen, with their entrepreneurial spirit, have played a significant role in shaping America's Christian identity. They have been instrumental in building churches, funding missionary work, and even influencing the direction of religious thought. Their impact is woven into the very fabric of American society, and their legacy continues to shape the nation's spiritual journey. Yet this is not a one-way street. The influence of Christianity on American business practices is equally profound. The values and principles of Christianity have been a guiding light for many businessmen, shaping their conduct and approach to their work. This symbiotic relationship between business and religion has created a unique dynamic that has shaped the course of American history. So how did this all come about? How did businessmen come to wield such influence over America's Christian identity? And what role has Christianity played in shaping American business practices? To understand this better, we'll need to journey back to the early days of America. In the early days of America, businessmen were among the main supporters of the church. As the New World began to take shape, it was businessmen who often put their financial weight behind the establishment of churches and the spread of Christianity. These early American entrepreneurs saw the church not only as a spiritual refuge, but also as a pillar of the community, a beacon of stability and order amidst the uncertainty of frontier life. Many of these businessmen, themselves devout Christians, funded the construction of churches, seeing it as their divine duty and a way to give back to their communities. They understood that a church was more than just a place of worship. It was a gathering place, a school, a hub of social activity, and a symbol of communal identity. In addition to building churches, businessmen financed missionary work, enabling the spread of Christianity far and wide across the vast American landscape. They believed that their financial success was a blessing from God, and that sharing this blessing with others was an integral part of their faith. Let's illuminate a few of these early American businessmen and their contributions to the Christian faith. Men like Robert Leckie, a wealthy merchant who funded the construction of numerous Presbyterian churches in New Jersey. Or consider Elias Boudinot, a successful lawyer and statesman who not only supported his local church, but also financed the education of missionaries and the publication of Bibles. Then there was Stephen Girard, one of the richest men in America during the early 19th century. He used his fortune to fund Episcopal churches and schools in Philadelphia, believing that education and faith went hand in hand. These men were more than just successful businessmen. They were pillars of their communities, using their wealth and influence to shape the moral and spiritual landscape of early America. This was just the beginning of a long-standing relationship between business and religion. As we will see, this partnership continued to evolve and adapt, playing a significant role in the development of America as a Christian nation. The Industrial Revolution not only transformed the American economy, but also the landscape of Christian philanthropy. This era, stretching from the late 18th to the mid-19th century, brought about significant changes in production, transportation, and technology. It was a time of rapid economic growth and unprecedented wealth accumulation, particularly for a class of industrialists and businessmen. As the wealth of these businessmen swelled, so too did their capacity for philanthropy. The Industrial Revolution, in essence, created a new breed of philanthropists. These individuals, having amassed fortunes through industry and commerce, felt a moral and spiritual obligation to use their wealth for good. They found a ready outlet for their charitable impulses in Christian philanthropy. Take, for instance, the case of Cornelius Vanderbilt. The shipping and railroad tycoon used a portion of his monumental fortune to establish Vanderbilt University. His intention was to create an institution that would strengthen the intellectual and spiritual fabric of the South after the Civil War. The university, while secular in its operations, was founded on Christian principles and continues to honor Vanderbilt's vision today. Another notable example is John D. Rockefeller. Often referred to as the richest man in history, Rockefeller was a devout Baptist and a firm believer in the idea of stewardship. He believed that his wealth was a gift from God, and he had a responsibility to use it wisely. Over his lifetime, he donated more than $500 million to various causes, many of them Christian charities and institutions. These are just two stories among many. The Industrial Revolution, with its creation of immense wealth, spurred a wave of Christian philanthropy that reshaped America's social, educational, and religious landscapes. Businessmen, driven by a combination of personal faith and civic duty, used their fortunes to fund churches, establish universities, combat social ills, and spread the Christian faith. The Industrial Revolution was a turning point in the relationship between businessmen and Christianity. It was a time when the pursuit of wealth and the practice of faith came together in a way that would leave an indelible mark on American society. The 20th century saw the rise of the Christian businessman as a public figure. This was a time when successful businessmen began to openly identify as Christians, using their influence to foster Christian values. In the early years of the 20th century, the world was being rapidly reshaped by technological advances and societal changes. Amidst this backdrop, a new breed of businessmen emerged. These weren't just titans of industry, but men who saw their faith as an integral part of their business ethos. These Christian businessmen didn't leave their faith at the church door on Sunday. Instead, they carried it into their offices, factories, and boardrooms on Monday. They believed that their business dealings should reflect their Christian values, creating an environment of honesty, integrity, and fair dealing. Names like John D. Rockefeller, Henry Ford, and J.C. Penney became synonymous with this new breed of businessmen. They were not only known for their commercial success, but also for their philanthropy, much of which was directed towards Christian causes. They saw their wealth as a tool to further their Christian values in society, helping to shape America's Christian identity. By the mid-20th century, this trend had grown even more pronounced. The post-war boom saw a surge of new businesses, and with it, an influx of Christian businessmen who were keen to put their faith into action. They used their influence to promote Christian values, not just within their businesses, but within society as a whole. They funded Christian schools and colleges, sponsored Christian radio and television programs, and supported Christian charities. They advocated for Christian values in the public sphere, influencing policy and legislation. In doing so, they played a significant role in shaping America's Christian identity. The impact of these Christian businessmen was profound. They demonstrated that one could be both a successful businessman and a dedicated Christian. They showed that faith and business weren't separate realms, but could intersect in meaningful and transformative ways. The influence of these Christian businessmen extended beyond their businesses and into society. Through their actions, they helped to create a vision of America as a Christian nation, a vision that continues to resonate with many today. The evangelical movement of the late 20th century was heavily influenced by businessmen. This statement may seem surprising, but let's delve into it. In the late 20th century, a new wave of Christianity began to permeate American society, known as the Evangelical movement. Now, what's interesting about this movement is the significant role played by businessmen who were not just mere bystanders, but active participants. They didn't just open their wallets, they opened their minds and hearts, embracing the evangelical movement's principles, and in turn, they shaped its trajectory. Their influence was not just financial, it was ideological and structural. They brought their business acumen, strategic vision and organizational skills to the table, helping to structure the movement and expand its reach and impact. Businessmen saw in the evangelical movement a faith that resonated with their values: hard work, personal responsibility, and the power of individual transformation. These values, akin to those of the business world, made the evangelical movement particularly appealing to them. But it wasn't just about aligning faith with personal values. Businessmen also recognized the potential of the evangelical movement as a force for social and political change. They capitalized on the movement's momentum, using their resources and influence to spread its message far and wide. Their involvement had a profound impact on American Christianity. It helped the evangelical movement grow in size and influence, reaching every corner of the country. It also shaped the way the movement operated, bringing a business-like approach to evangelism. The result? The evangelical movement became a potent force in American society, shaping the nation's religious, social, and political landscape. It brought Christianity to the forefront of American life, making it a defining feature of the nation's identity. And at the heart of this transformation were businessmen who saw in the evangelical movement not just a faith, but a mission to spread the gospel, transform society, and in the process, make America a Christian nation. Businessmen have not only supported the church financially, but have also played a key role in shaping its direction. Their influence continues to be felt today as they remain at the forefront of the ongoing journey of American Christianity. Today, the Christian businessman continues to play a significant role in America's Christian identity. In the modern age, the intersection between business and Christianity persists, as Christian businessmen continue to impact the world in unique and profound ways. They integrate their faith into their business ethos, creating companies that not only generate profit, but also reflect their Christian values. Consider the realm of philanthropy. Today's Christian businessmen are not just focused on their balance sheets, but also on how they can give back to society. They understand that their wealth and influence can be used to make a positive difference in the world. This is a reflection of the Christian principle of charity, the belief in helping those less fortunate. Through their philanthropic efforts, they fund initiatives that tackle poverty, promote education, and address other social issues. Moreover, Christian businessmen influence society through their public personas. They often uphold themselves as role models, displaying their commitment to their faith and their businesses. They use their platforms to share their values and inspire others to live in accordance with Christian principles. This visibility often encourages other businessmen to also openly express their faith, creating a ripple effect that further strengthens America's Christian identity. In the world of commerce, Christian businessmen are known for their ethical business practices. They strive to conduct their businesses with honesty and integrity, honoring their faith in every transaction. This approach has influenced the business landscape, encouraging other companies to adopt similar ethical standards. Through their businesses, these men are also creating opportunities for Christian expression. They are designing workplaces that respect and accommodate Christian practices, such as prayer and Bible study groups. This is cultivating an environment where faith and work can coexist, and where employees can freely express their religious beliefs. In essence, the modern Christian businessman is not just a profit-driven entrepreneur. He is a steward of his faith, using his business as a platform to express his Christian values, serve the community, and influence the broader society. The legacy of the Christian businessman is still very much alive and influential today. So, how have businessmen shaped America's Christian identity? We've journeyed through the centuries, from the early days of America to the present, uncovering the profound influence businessmen have had in shaping America's Christian identity. In the early days, businessmen played a pivotal role in the establishment and sustenance of churches. They were the backbone of the spiritual community, providing financial support and contributing their business acumen to ensure the church's growth and survival. Their efforts were instrumental in laying the foundation of Christianity in America. With the dawn of the Industrial Revolution, the synergy between business and Christianity evolved. Christian philanthropy became a significant driving force for societal change. Businessmen led the charge, their wealth and influence propelling charitable endeavors that echoed the teachings of Christianity. They became the custodians of Christian values, using their resources to champion causes that reflected their faith. As we stepped into the 20th century, the rise of the Christian businessman became more apparent. They were no longer just benefactors, they were leaders, shaping the direction of Christianity in America. Their influence seeped into every facet of society, from politics to culture, reinforcing the Christian identity of America. The Evangelical movement of the late 20th century marked another turning point. Businessmen were at the forefront, using their platforms to spread the Christian message far and wide. Their active participation in the movement amplified its reach and impact, making Christianity more pervasive in American life. In modern times, the Christian businessman continues to leave an indelible mark on America. They are not just business leaders, they are spiritual leaders. Their actions and decisions steeped in Christian principles. They use their influence to uphold and promote Christian values, shaping America's moral and ethical landscape. From financing churches in the early days to shaping the direction of modern Christianity, businessmen have played a defining role in making America a Christian nation. Whether it's through philanthropy, leadership, or evangelism, their contributions have been instrumental in shaping America's Christian identity. Their influence, woven into the very fabric of American society, continues to reverberate, securing America's place as a Christian nation.